Hello, Cancer. I'm Poetic Heretic, and this is your December 2020 astrology forecast. Remember, as always, these videos will be most accurate for your rising sign. However, you may also use them for your sun and moon sign if you so desire. So let us begin. The month of December dreams its way into existence with loving Venus forming a trine to nebulous Neptune on December 5th at 11:50 p.m. Eastern Time. A breakthrough that may be positive or negative occurs around this time involving how you relate to others as well as fantasy or confusion. This breakthrough takes place in the area of your creative self-expression and or your beliefs, spirituality, ideals, or what is foreign to you, and it ends up affecting your friends or social group, your home and family life, and or, again, your beliefs, spirituality, ideals, or what is foreign to you. Generally, Venus-Neptune trines are very enjoyable and pleasant experiences, but there is also the risk of getting caught up in the fantasy of Neptune to the point that one loses touch with reality. The Neptunian confusion continues with our next event on December 9th at 2:34 p.m. as the willful Sun forms a stressful square to mysterious Neptune. A stressful event occurs involving your ego or sense of self, as well as fantasy or confusion that pushes you into new areas of activity. This takes place in the area of your work, health, schedule, and day-to-day activities, and or your beliefs, spirituality, ideals, or what is foreign to you. And it ends up affecting your money or values and or, again, your beliefs, spirituality, ideals, or what is foreign to you. A Sun-Neptune square tends to manifest as confusion as the ego finds itself unable to easily direct things and shrouded in the otherworldly mists of Neptune. Additionally, this month we have Mercury only a few days later on the 13th also forming a square to Neptune. This creates further mental confusion and uncertainty. Thus, the entire period of time that is the 9th to the 13th this month can be considered an overall confusing time. This brings us right into the new moon in Sagittarius on December 14th at 11:17 a.m. This signals the beginning of a new cycle in the area of your work, health, schedule, and day-to-day activities. The new moon is in Sagittarius, so it is one of inspiration, idealism, belief, and action, but it is also conjunct Mercury within only slightly more than 3 degrees, infusing it with mental and logical overtones as well. This new moon is also a solar eclipse, part of Saros Series 4 South. Thus, if and only if you personally have planets around 23 degrees of Sagittarius or 23 degrees of Gemini, this whole month or more may be an extra stressful time for you, particularly when it comes to love or money. Patience and restraint are highly recommended. The next event we are looking at is a big one. It is also quite rare, occurring only once every 20 years. Understand, therefore, as we delineate this, that it is not only a big part of this month, but also of a much larger cycle. It is none other than the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, taking place on December 21st at 1:20 p.m. and occurring this time right at 0 degrees 29 minutes, or basically at 1/2 of a degree of Aquarius. While there is much that could be said about the larger, more far-reaching implications of this, the delineation we are concerned with for the month of December is that of an event that represents an expansion of responsibility, authority, limitation, or reality. This takes place in the area of your partner's money, business, or issues of life and death, and it ends up affecting your work, health, schedule, and day-to-day activities, your beliefs, spirituality, ideals, or what is foreign to you, your major relationships, and or your partner's money, business, or issues of life and death. One thing I will say about the larger implications of this development is that this is the first time the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is taking place in a sign other than an Earth sign in about 200 years. Instead, it is taking place in the air sign of Aquarius, representing a powerful shift from the element of Earth to air in this larger 200-year cycle. Air is all about intellectual detachment and mental focus, as opposed to Earth, which is all about what is physical, tangible, and practical. We will see this shift manifest not only in our own personal lives, but also in the wider world. At the time of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, we will have also just had the Sun recently conjunct Mercury on the 19th at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. What is interesting about this is that even though this does not qualify as a sign-based trine to Uranus, it does form a rather wide trine to that planet by degree. And then only 1 to 2 days later, both the Sun and Mercury enter Capricorn and are now not only trine Uranus by sign, but closing in on doing so by exact degree. What does all this mean? I believe overall it highlights the probability for breakthroughs and pushing into the future around the time of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction we just went over. In addition to that conjunction occurring on the 21st and the Sun-Mercury conjunction occurring on the 19th, the exact trine from Mercury to Uranus occurs on the 25th, followed by the same trine from the Sun on the 27th. This means that this entire part of the month, from about the 19th to the 27th, is highly probable to contain breakthroughs and sudden new developments likely related to what we went over with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. The Sun conjunct Mercury lights up our mind and communication, while the trines to Uranus encourage sudden new freedom, insights, rebellion, or revelation. Also occurring during this later part of the month is the Mars-Pluto square, perfecting on December 23rd at 10:13 a.m. This is the third and final Mars-Pluto square for this Mars retrograde cycle we are now on our way out of, the previous two having taken place on August 13th and October 9th of this year. As I stated in previous forecast videos, these Mars squares are all connected, so it is in this month of December that we finish the Mars-Pluto story begun in August. As for the other Mars squares connected with this cycle, those to Jupiter and Saturn, they will not be over until January, though their effects may linger for some time afterwards. This means that as we go over this Mars-Pluto delineation, you can look back in your own life and know that whatever story began around August and perhaps had increased activity in October is now coming to a close here in December, leaving you forever transformed. The Mars-Pluto square manifests as a stressful event involving action, motivation, will, or desire, as well as deep emotional intensity or transformation that pushes you into new areas of activity. This takes place in the area of your career or public image and or your major relationships, and it has lasting effects in the area of your career or public image and or your creative self-expression. Mars square Pluto is generally a very deep and difficult aspect, but also one that is highly transformative and cathartic. Issues of anger may be brought to the surface, power structures may be challenged. Stress and intensity accompany this emotionally raw planetary standoff. The grand finale of December is the full moon in Cancer on December 29th at 10:28 p.m. The full moon is where things come to a head, and this one occurs in your first house. Thus, you can expect things to come to a head in the area of you personally. It is sextile Uranus, so there is an element of excitement, suddenness, shock, or revelation associated with this full moon. It is also opposite Mercury, so challenges, choices, or other events involving communication, mental activity, or travel may cause some level of stress around this time. A full moon in the sign of Cancer emphasizes the importance of establishing a safe structure within which something can grow. The month of December makes for a powerful conclusion to the wild and nearly unprecedented year that has been 2020. It begins in a very dreamlike way with powerful aspects to Neptune, moves into completely new, uncharted, futuristic territory as both Jupiter and Saturn leave Capricorn and enter Aquarius, where they conjoin for the first time in centuries. And it contains a great deal of stressful transformation with the third and final Mars square to Pluto. I strongly suspect that December will be the gateway to exciting new beginnings, but it is not without stress and confrontation, whether that be with another person, an event, or even within yourself. Improving times are coming, but we must first do the work to earn them. So there you have it, Cancer. That is your December 2020 forecast. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, as I'm always creating new astrology related and other kinds of content for this channel that I hope you do find interesting. So I hope you have a great month of December indeed, and thank you so much for watching this forecast.